Alrighty.
The Battle of the Bridge, mate.
Battle of the Bridge now. See, this is funny because some of those earlier games are definitely more relevant for standard. And we've already been speaking for ages, so we'll probably break this up into segments. So we'll get through them as quick as we can. I think the later the round goes on, basically it's just some rookies and a few other bits and pieces that'll only be touched on, so it should be a bit quicker for these ones. But we'll get into it anyway. GWS and Sydney. I thought GWS fought really well. Flynn had a great game as well, just being the main ruck there. It'll be interesting to see how they go with that. Bruce probably could have definitely helped them a little bit, put a bit of hit on, do the old Willy Rioli and just try and take some people out. But for me, I was extremely impressed. Tom Green, I think, absolutely just smashed it. Extremely elite. Looks like he's actually gotten a bit bigger, playing like a mini Cripps. And I hate comparing people to other players, but just his body frame and his size was already looking to be talented, but just killed it. And then when he plays like that, surely they have to just go, right, well, you've earned the right to get that role again next week and just see if that momentum continues because he was extremely influential. The thing that I noticed out of this one, though, is that Cameron, the coach, came out saying that a couple of boys didn't take their preseason form in with them. And that was completely talking about Canelio and probably even Whitfield took some really good form in the preseason, just didn't actually transfer it over into an actual game. So I expect them to bounce back. But who are you really impressed with as far as all standard relevance for GWS, Swizz?
Yeah, well, I get to see them this week because that's the Sunday afternoon game. They're playing my boys at the G, so I'll have a lot more knowledge about the Giants next week. But Tommy Green, yeah, there was rumours about Richmond were chasing him, so they've got to give him the role in there. In massive breakout vibes about this kid, so I'll know a lot more watching him closely this week. Timmy Taranto, I know a few started with him and a few were on the burn list. It was on my burn list from last year. Had a little bit more of that midfield role, and the hard thing with the Giants is they've got so many. Like Kelly's gone 116. We talk about Taranto. We talk about Green. Hopper's sort of come out a little bit more this week, and Canelio. So I think it's going to be a horses for courses, different weeks, different matchups. Teams are going to lock down on different players. So they're a bit. Cameron's not as bad as Bevo, but he definitely, as you found out about Jelly last year, on any given week, he can send some player forward if they get an injury or maybe this week they'll do something different because Toby Green usually kills us. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is the week Taranto plays more forward. So I love the Giants players. I think there's some really good ones. I would love to have Kelly on my side. I only have Canelio and Whitfield from their team, but I don't have any confidence in their coach to pick some of those other guys because I think it'll be until Toby comes back, and then when Toby does come back, he usually gets himself rubbed out or does something stupid anyway. So I don't know how their lineup's going to match up each week. And even Flint, like a lot of people have picked Bruce at R2 or had him at R3 with English or done some stuff there. I don't think Bruce might even play this week again after Flynn's performance. And Richmond's not really the ruck contest that they might do two rucks. So there's a big chance Bruce doesn't play this week, and Flynn, it just becomes a week by week. If Flynn comes out and dominates again, he probably plays the following week. If he doesn't, then Bruce comes in. So, yeah, I think they'll keep us guessing, and I really don't want a bar of too many other Giants players at the moment.
I think they probably play Flynn this week, to be honest, just because with Green out, I think they could use a little bit more of a presence up forward, and Flynn
You mean
definitely
Bruce
provided
or
a nice. Oh, sorry, Bruce provided a nice leading target as well in the Amy series. So I think they'll use him and get that chop out sort of in the ruck to try and get some dominance. But I'm not sure about his scoring potential. We will see. But I think he was good at the lead up option that they could really use. Also touching on Tom Green as well, 17 contested possessions out of his 31, really even ratio from his kicking. Kicked a couple of pivotal goals, which actually sort of really helped dominate them particularly in that second half or first half, should I say. So for me, he's awkward price, obviously 430. But if someone did happen to pull a miracle out, a third year breakout, isn't it? So I think it's the Clary kind of type. If the role's there, uh, he's definitely someone that could actually keep some good form rolling. 164 Supercoach is just absolutely ridiculous. So I like him, and I guess we'll keep an eye on him in the future.
yeah, and
Um,
they had this game halfway through the third quarter, and then the
oh,
Luke Parker show happened, and even Heaney, but Lukey Parker. Is he one of the greatest footballers? One of the most underrated footballers.
Underrated.
If he played, like naturally we always say this in a Victorian club where the media's on you, and that he would be spoken about so much more.
If he
We
played
used
for
to have the
Carlton or Collingwood, he'd be a
oh,
life member already.
absolutely would be, and that is so good, and that's why he got the 167. Don't go out trading for Lukey Parker next week because it's just not a good move. But the big one from them was Mr. Heaney. And I know a few people
Yeah.
started sort of a little bit worried about the
Kicked a
preseason
couple late
and
too as well, I
that
think,
he
and
did,
well,
and
Heaney always had that potential and the role, and he was still scoring fairly well. But once he put the game out of reach, basically the game impact and the scaling, he just went absolutely gangbusters. A 141 Supercoach priced at what is he 454, so around the others. But again, with all the value in the forward line, I don't think many are starting with three premium forwards because you have so much value in that forward line. And if you did have him, then kudos, but you probably missed out on a Butters this week. Like obviously scored more this week than Butters, or Dunkley would be, based so scored more than him as well this week. But it's kind of horses for courses. I think Heaney did well, and I'm still looking at him ever for the future. Um, but I was very impressed with Heaney this week.
yep, yeah, for sure, mate. But his score gets boosted that little bit. That first goal, always first goal gets you boosted that little bit more, and then he kicked that important goal. Like he kicked one of those later goals in the last quarter, like two back to back, so which blew the game. So yeah, he's scaling naturally.
Oh, first quarter,
Yeah,
last
off the
quarter,
charts,
scaling's
mate.
ridiculous. Yeah,
Absolutely off the charts. So yeah,
because we
we
either
know what
set
he
the
can
game
do.
up.
He's got probably the best body in footy. He looks like he just is a fantastic player. But we know he any given week can come out and do 60 as well. So this is what you get with Isaac, and that it's not a consistent. It's not. He's not, and it shows he's not playing pure midfield that we were hoping. He is still playing that forward role, pushing up. So yeah, he's had his 25. He's kicked his important goals. But yeah, this week it's a different week. Like, who did we say they got? Geelong, and then I think the
Geelong.
Bulldogs. And
Yep.
that
So,
so the
and
next
if
2 weeks
Stewart
will
plays,
yep, the
yep,
next two
if
weeks
Stewart
we'll
plays on
really see
him,
where he is.
yeah, if Stewart plays on him, matches him in the air, and and can also like float off and get his own intercepts and stuff like that. So it'll be an interesting one for me. I didn't really see too much of it because I think this was when it was kicking in towards near the Lions playing. So I watched a little bit of it at a mate's house as well. So Mills obviously 84. But again, when you had Rowbottom perform, Florent come out with an absolute killer. Hickey held his own. Parker just dominated 5 goals. Won't get that every week. So
Further
I
down the
think
list, mate, there's one name there who scored 54 that a lot of people were looking at him.
McInerney. Oh yeah,
Yes,
you were looking too, I think,
I
and
was.
Chris,
I
and
must admit, I
he
thought
hurt
with Jake
himself.
Lloyd.
Copped
Oh,
a
yeah,
knock
I
as
thought
well.
with Jake Lloyd out, this is McInerney's backline, and was not the case at all, mate. So, and even Campbell, like they had an opportunity there to set the world on fire, but
They
yeah,
didn't.
it was actually more the lizard doing things, and I
Yeah,
saw actually him pop
which
up in a couple of teams, which
Yep, shout
was
out to Zane as well, because Zane was talking about basically, well, he was saying Lloyd wouldn't score as much because a lot of the ball was going through Lizard. This was seen that when Lloyd's not even there, then Lizard definitely, as far as meters gained, impact. So shout out to you, Zane, mate. Really good call there. Well done for your boys, obviously catching up. And the issue as well, yeah, McInerney, I think had a bit of a knee knock, so I hope he's okay. But I think it was a bit of a knock on knees in the last 30 seconds, so hopefully that's all right there. Dylan Stevens, 59.
about what
For an
we expect.
expensive price.
Well,
Yeah,
exactly what
but
we
for
expected.
you would have surely you hope for a bit more than a
No, but
59 though.
that's what we thought.
Yeah.
Exactly
Oh
what I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
he'd go.
That's what I mean. It's if they really get on the end of a team, he might get a bit more. But I mean, it's probably around that point, and he's only getting you a few more points than a guy 40,000 cheaper at this point. So, again, keep an eye on that one as well. The real interesting one is Kennedy, 35. Either he's not playing his new role, I think, so maybe it's just didn't work out, not his day, or he just didn't adapt very well to his new role. But he's definitely someone to watch for even draft leagues. Could get him cheap,
Yeah.
and just keep an eye on him
But
there. Swizz.
yeah, but then you're hoping like I think more the injury because they want Rowbottom, Florent, the Mills. It's a new age and that they've still got
Yep.
Parker as the experienced guy. It had to happen at some point. So I think Kennedy's not even that relevant for drafts anymore, mate. So
Yep, and
it's,
even Warner obviously had COVID, so he'll be back in as well,
so
and he's a
yeah,
big part of that midfield. So I expect Florent probably to get a little bit less of the pie this one around. Rowbottom will probably even play second fiddle to Warner. Warner is just an absolute pit bull, and they thrive on players like that in their midfield. So I do rate it there. I'm just trying to say, I don't think there's much more
no, that's it,
relevancy
mate.
there.
No,
Look,
that's it.
look,
You
yeah,
can,
shat the
it's
bed, and
no, that's it. Goulden, maybe Goulden going down the
yeah,
track,
as a
mate, but
forward,
it's probably more as a draft thing if you can try
yeah,
to
it would
snag
be.
him. But
Oh,
so I don't
McCartan.
mind
We
him.
need to
But
talk about McCartan.
oh
Paddy
yeah, no, for
McCartan.
sure, mate. Did
Got a
you see the start
70.
of the game when his brother presented him his jumper?
I did
That
see the
dead
footage.
set,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
that dead set could make you
that
tear up. That
that one with the Doherty one, probably the two best moments of the weekend, to be honest.
yeah,
Yeah, well, it's just one of the things that you like to see, those comeback stories, and not enough people have the resilience these days. It's hard life sometimes, and to show that resilience and that perseverance and to keep through, those are the little nice stories in football that you hope that they're successful. 157K for Paddy McCartan. Horse actually came out saying, obviously people need to remember this is his first game of football as a defender. And Horse felt that he got better as the game went on, as did some of his other players. And I think it's just kudos to him that the more the game went on, he kind of settled into it a little bit more. And Horse was happy with how he played as the game unfolded. So to go score a 70 there, I think is absolutely great. The more exposure he gets playing in that defensive line, I think the better he will. He actually gave away, I think, a couple of frees. So for me, I'm happy to have him on field, getting that 70, has that swing position. Basically, hoping he gets through to round 6 until some of these other guys actually gets, Dacos can go into defense and then provide some of that flexibility, etc. So definitely, I think if he goes well this week, everyone should have him in their team. Otherwise, who the fuck do you have in defense? 68% of teams. So again, a very safe pick. I just fingers crossed, touch wood that he has a good go of it. Swizz.
and he's DDPP. So if we do get McGovern, for those who are keeping him, and he does look like that, it's perfect swing there. So yeah, you should have Paddy in that side.